depending on where you may be. Thank you again for standing by and welcome to today's Tivoli User Community Webcast. Our topic for today is IBM Operations Analytics, New Features Galore. All phones are currently in a listen-only mode, and later there will be a question and answer session with further instructions being given at that time. You may ask a question at any time during the presentation using the chat window located in the control panel. Questions will be answered at the end of the presentation with the rest of the Q&A. Today's session is being recorded, and you'll be provided a copy of today's materials following the call. Now I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. Matt Rodkey is the product manager for IBM's Predictive Insights product in the IBM Operations Analytics portfolio. In his 15 years at IBM, Matt has worked in development, advanced technology group, and product management. These roles have covered many parts of the IT service management portfolio, including security, application performance management, cloud management, and now operations analytics. Pandit Prasad has 20 years of high-tech industry experience with a track record of success casting a vision, identifying strategic priorities, and driving execution. He currently leads the product strategy and management for IBM's analytics portfolio of products. Prior to that, he led the global product marketing team at IBM for the cloud portfolio of products. Earlier, as an IT architect working for PwC and other consulting companies, he implemented ERP, CRM, data warehouse applications for several Fortune 100 companies. Gentlemen, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thank you very much. So today, Prasad and myself are here to talk with you about our IBM Operations Analytics portfolio and some of the exciting new features that we've released in the two primary products in that portfolio. For those that don't know, both of these products are on what we at IBM refer to as a continuous delivery model, which means that we've actually been releasing new features and new versions of the products on a quarterly basis. So there have been a number of new things that have happened since the last time we came and did a presentation here back in March or April of this year. So we're here to talk a little bit about what's new since the last time we spoke here. So I'll start by setting the stage a little bit in terms of around the portfolio and the space, and then we'll get into the details of the new features in the products. So IT Operations Analytics really helps to solve a new type set of problems, right? We've got tons and tons of data that we're collecting in our environments. Refer to it as operational big data. And it becomes harder and harder to necessarily find that proverbial needle in the haystack and actually find and solve that problem quickly via traditional tools alone. So enter IT Operations Analytics, right? Help you with things like avoiding having to manually set performance thresholds, identifying issues, emerging problems before they become service impacting and start to cost your business real dollars. And then once you've identified a potential issue, isolating and finding the root cause and solving that issue, again, before that issue becomes service impacting. So IBM's solution in this space, right, set of solutions, we talk about three key areas. We talk about the ability to predict, so proactively avoid problems before they become service impacting. Understand when things are starting to change in your environment and you should probably go take a look at it. Searching through the mountains and mountains of operational big data to find the root cause and fix that problem faster. And then again, improving the efficiency, and then taking all of the results of that and improving the efficiency of your data center and operations staff so that you, again, can continue to avoid these sorts of problems. And we've taken a number of clients through this, through this journey, and we're continuing to work with them today as they continue to improve, use analytics to improve the efficiency of their IT operations. So with that, that's enough sort of the high-level stuff. Let's sort of jump into the meat of today's discussion, which is going to be one of our two primary offerings we're going to talk about, which are first the Predictive Insights product, and I'm going to share with some of our new issues for our Predictive Insights product. And then once I'm done there, then Prasad will come on and share some of the new features and capabilities that we've announced and delivered for our log analysis product. So for predictive insights, just give a high-level view of sort of what the product can help you do, right? At the end of the day, the problem we're trying to solve here is that being a reactive operations department is no longer good enough. You have to learn how to be more proactive and get ahead of emerging problems so that your apps never go down. Some of the sort of key value areas that we talk about with predictive insights: automated threshold maintenance, right? The ability to alert when a metric is violating a threshold, but without having to keep having special rules and changing and having additional thresholds that you have to keep changing because on Saturday night you run batch jobs and therefore it causes all your alarms to go off, or on Monday morning at 9 a.m. everyone logs onto their computer and causes a spike in traffic which causes your alarms to go off. Automated threshold maintenance, machine learning of what normal behavior is for your system. Anomaly detection, which is really the heart of what predictive insights does. Alerting when your systems and your metrics are deviating from what is observed as normal behavior. So if your system normally behaves in a certain fashion and it starts to change, predictive insights will let you know and raise an anomaly and say, you should probably go and check over there because something is happening different than it usually does. It's available as both an on-prem and as a SaaS offering. And it supports a broad heterogeneous set of environments, right? So out-of-box integration to obviously our IBM APM and ITM environments, as well as third-party performance management and monitoring solutions. Again, it's this is metric-based analytics. It takes time series metric data in and builds a model and alerts on it. So with that as a background, let's talk about what's new. So we focused a lot in the most recent release of the product on context and output for the product. So the big thing that we did for context is predictive insights as a product is configurationless. So compared with other analytics products that are in the market, many of them require you to take a data scientist and build a model of the way your metrics relate to each other before you input them. And then off of that model, then you get alarms and alerts when things deviate. So predictive insights just takes in the data and it uses algorithms to build the relationships in the model. So it's configurationless in that sense. But being configurationless, sometimes that means you don't have a lot of context of some of the relationships that the metrics might not know, such as all three of these servers belong to one business service, or all three of these servers are on a single rack. So we're adding the ability to pass in attributes or tags that can go along with these metrics that then you can use on the output side to give context, right? This system is a dev system. This system is a production system. It may change your workflow, your routing of your tickets that come out of that. So again, we'll go through this in a little bit more detail in a couple screens here. But you're basically able to pass in some attributes and some context that may be very relevant to your business and to your operators when they consume the output that come out of predictive insights. So the second main area that we focused on was our baselines. And our baseline is basically, for those that don't know, that's how we would describe how we would measure normal behavior. Baseline would be the normal behavior we would observe for a metric or a set of metrics. And traditionally with the product, that baseline has always been built and represented the state of what's going on real time in the environment, and it adjusts as new data comes in. But there's often times when you may be using predictive insights and you may want to go back and look at what happened 3 weeks ago. So we've now adjusted the baseline so that when you go back 3 weeks ago, it rolls back to what the baseline was at that point in time 3 weeks ago, as opposed to overlaying the current today's baseline on 3 weeks ago's data. This led to some visual discrepancies prior to that when people started to use it. And this is sort of as we learned more people were using the product in this particular fashion, we decided that it was better to make this visually more accurate in terms of having the historical baseline there. The other thing that we've done with baselines as well is we've increased the resolution of the baseline. And what that tends to do is what that means is we'll used to have, and you'll see a picture of this later, where you'd have a lot of alerts that might come up when something looked like it was still inside the baseline or and not outside the baseline because of the resolution of the way we displayed it. Visually, something looked like it wasn't a problem when mathematically it was a problem. We've also increased and improved our seasonality algorithms, which again help with our baselining as well. And that's seasonality helps us with things like I understand what Monday morning at 9 a.m. looks like, and I understand that that might be different than Tuesday at 4 p.m. So understanding that metrics might seasonally vary, and we've improved those algorithms there again. And the whole idea here is we're always looking to have our alarms increase in accuracy and reduce the number of alarms that might be construed as extraneous or noise. And last but not least, another big thing we added was a new algorithm around correlation, allowing us to bring in related metrics when you have an anomaly on a particular metric, to bring in another related metric that just aids, again, it's addition, aids in context to help you solve problems faster. So let me walk through a couple of these features in some screenshots here. So attribute tagging, right? So at the end of the day, when you bring in through our data mediation, you're bringing metrics into the tool, you can add these metrics, you can add these tags into the metrics. So in this case, we're bringing in something like a service name that can help someone understand which service this is a part of. Another use case that's not shown here that's really good is oftentimes these metrics will come from a tool, IBM APM, IBM ITM, or another performance management tool, and you may need a particular attribute or a string that you need to build into a launch-in context, so you can launch in context from predictive insights back into that monitoring tool to deep dive on that metric. So it's another use case for these attributes. And then you can see that they come through as fields in the omnibus event that gets generated in predictive insights. And then in the predictive insights UI itself, the service name comes through again as part of the metric description and information that's in the service diagnosis viewer in predictive insights. So again, this is really an enabling feature to allow for a lot more other things that can be done, whether those be right-click launch in context to deep dive tools, allowing you to route events and tickets for particular events to dev or production to different places, or by service name to different places. This really allows you to add a lot more context to the output so that your operators can more quickly action any of the events that come through. So I mentioned seasonal baselines, right? And this has to do with going back in time and correcting and displaying the historical baseline. So if you take a look at the difference between 131, which is our prior release, and 132, which is the release we came out with in June, you end up with, in 131, if you look backwards in time, it looks like you have an anomaly that's occurring inside the baseline. So it's, as far as the graphic is telling you, the behavior of the metric is normal, but it's telling you that there's an anomaly. With seasonal baselines in 131, now as you search back in time, you can see that, well, the baseline actually adjusted over time because we picked up new data, so the actual baseline adjusted. And when I apply the appropriate baseline to that historical point in time, I can now see that this actually was outside of the baseline. And again, this just makes the visuals on the tool much more conclusive with what you would expect to see. So the other piece is we dealt with the resolution of the baseline. And with low resolution baselines, you can see a number of anomaly events raised that either look like they're just inside or just outside or right on the border of the baseline, which again is a visually confusing view of the data. So as we increased the resolution of the baseline, you can actually now much clearer see, right? You don't have these harsh straight lines at the edge of the baseline. You actually can see a higher resolution top and bottom of the baseline there. And you can actually see where these metrics did actually deviate outside of the baseline. So it's, again, visually it aligns a little bit more with what your expectations are in terms of the output. So again, the bottom line is all of this stuff is around this context and trust in the output. You're getting an anomaly event. It's a good anomaly event. It's got the context you need to help answer that, to help solve that problem. So the last feature to talk about here is correlation. So correlation is a new algorithm that identifies the relationships of metrics that move together in time. They have a very tight relationship. So they have to be very highly correlated mathematically. It doesn't produce any additional correlation as an algorithm, doesn't produce any additional alarms. It just provides relationships and context. So as you can see here, we're looking at an anomaly in a particular metric, but it's showing us other metrics on the bottom that are correlated. So there's a second metric here that's correlated, and you can see very visually by the graph here that it flows in time with this same metric. And what we found is that this oftentimes can help us find the root, get us to root cause quicker by understanding, hey, these metrics are correlated, and they both consistently go to anomaly at the same time, or these are tightly correlated and one went to anomaly and one didn't. So there's something is now broken in that relationship that used to exist. Again, it's an additional set of context to help us get to root cause faster in terms of what's really going on. Analytics, with predictive insights, what we're trying to do with analytics is really show you where you have changes and deviations from normal in your environment and provide you as much context as we can to allow you to go figure out what changed, what do I need to go look at to go fix this problem quickly. So with that, I'm going to pause here and hand it over to Prasad to cover the new features in log analysis. If you do have any questions on predictive insights, feel free to type them into the text chat at the side here, and we'll make sure that we get them answered as we move through and we get to the question and answer period at the end here. So with that, Prasad, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Matt. First of all, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here. Let's get started with log analysis solution. So the slide shows some of the areas of the strength of this solution: the breadth of searchable data, expert-advised, mainframe support, embedded analytics. So Matt pointed out we have a significant number of capabilities that we added to the product since we spoke to you last. Specifically, we have added to the areas of breadth of searchable data and embedded analytics. We'll walk through those details in the next few slides. Okay, next slide, please. So this slide gives the overall list of the new capabilities that we added in the last release. We have a brand new entry edition that we released. We continue to add to our list of insight packs, the ecosystem of insight packs. Again, we have another brand new part, or we can call it as a add-on product called Service Desk Extension. We have added support for Hadoop, primarily big insights, but we also support Cloudera distribution as well. We have added alerting and role-based access control capabilities to the product. Let's talk through these features in detail one by one. Next slide, please. I'm very excited to share with you our brand new entry edition. Some of you have been using our solution, maybe used to our trial version before, and the entry edition basically replaces the trial version. The differences being entry edition is, again, 100% free version of log analysis. There is no time restriction on the usage of this product. Again, it comes in 2 deployment options. If you have SUSE or RHEL, you can download, install, and use it without any time limit. For use on other operating systems or laptops, we also provide a virtual appliance that can be downloaded and used. Again, there are no restrictions on the type of data that you can ingest. There is a hard limit of 2 GB of ingestion per day. It's a hard-coded restriction that comes with the entry edition. It's great for development test environment. It works with all the insight packs. So again, I'm going to go through the list of insight packs in the next few slides, but you can use the entry edition with pretty much any of the insight packs. Some of them are free and some of them you need to purchase, but it can work with any insight pack. And it is available as of today. If you go to the product page or the developer community, there are several links here that you can go anywhere and download these trial or entry edition and start playing around with the product. Okay. With that, let's go to the next slide. So we launched a developer community a few months ago. It's a one-stop shop for getting to know both the products. So it has all the information on pretty much both predictive insights and the log analysis products. So all the insight packs that we ship are listed on this community ITOA/resources subpage. You can go there. It provides the details of these insight packs. There are some videos for pretty much most of the insight packs, so you can look at it or look at the documentation, know more about what these insight packs can do for you. You can also reach out to us via these forums and share with us your thoughts, or if you have any questions for us, we can have a dialogue via these forums. Next slide, please. So the insight packs basically are in 3 tiers. We continue to add to our free tier. A lot of our IBM middleware products are supported by all these free tier. And then we also have a couple of premium or tiers that are for a price. There are standard and premium tiers. Again, all these insight packs are listed in the ecosystem ITOA/resources webpage. And all the insight packs are fully IBM branded and supported by us. So it will be a seamless IBM experience for any of these insight packs. While the base product is on an ingestion metric, the standard premium insight packs are charged based on an install metric. So that's a slight variation in how they are priced as compared to the base product. Okay, next slide, please. So just to give you an idea of the insight packs that we released in the last quarter. Again, we have similar listing for this quarter as well as the 4th quarter. So we'll continue to accelerate and ramp up on the number of insight packs and the coverage for the different middleware applications, infrastructure, etc. So it's a fast-growing ecosystem. be on the lookout, for on this page ITOA resources for additions every quarter. Okay, next slide, please. Again, it's another brand new product from us. It's called the Service Desk extension. So we can now ingest ticket data, not only from IBM Help Desk, but we also support BMC Remedy as well as ServiceNow. So we can ingest these ticket data and provide you with some analytics and insights based on the data from the tickets. So what we primarily do is the ticketing solutions both have structured as well as unstructured data. So we parse both the structured as well as unstructured data, and then group them together and start delivering insights based on the information that we find in them. Again, you will continue to see more and more features coming out in this area. It's been pretty much well received by some of our beta customers, so we got a lot of good feedback. So we are really excited to share with you with this new solution. So currently, this solution provides insights such as we can group these ticket data together and find out what are the most frequently occurring incident types. Which incident has taken the most time to resolve, where we had most number of issues, and either by the location or by the department. So we can go on with things like that. Basically grouping different types of data that are in the ticket and providing them into visualizations that will be very useful for both the subject matter experts, line of business, etc., when they are trying to resolve the tickets. Right. So if you're interested only in the service desk part of the log analysis solution, we have carved it out as a separate product. So it comes bundled with the entry edition, basically. So apart from having these insights from Service Desk, they will get the ingestion for about 2 GB per day based on the entry edition. But then when they want to get into full-fledged log analysis usage, they can always upgrade to a standard edition. Again, the upgrade is seamless. You have to just get the standard edition license and apply it. And there's no rip and replace involved. So we offer a seamless path for getting into a standard edition. Again, it integrates out of the box with our IBM Help Desk solution. And we also support BMC and ServiceNow. Again, you can expect more and more integrations to other kind of service desk solutions in the future, apart from adding more exciting features in this area. Next question, please. Sorry, next slide, please. Again, another very interesting feature from us, we added Hadoop support to our product. By default, we integrate with our IBM's Big Insights distribution of Hadoop. Again, the differentiation that we offer here is it's pretty much real time, as you can see in the architecture diagram. As soon as the data comes in, gets into the ingestion pipeline, it gets into both the hot and cold tier, which is the log analysis solution, as well as to the Hadoop. So there is no time delay for the data to get into Hadoop. Some of our customers have made this as an important requirement that they need to be able to look into Hadoop real time without having to wait for any time delay. And you'll be able to get that with this kind of architecture. So we have a same query interface that you use to search the data, both in the log analysis hot and cold tier, as well as the Hadoop solution. So there is no difference in the search query, use the same. It's very seamless experience. Depending on the time window, it is very transparent as to where the data is coming from. So next slide, please. So again, just gets into a little bit more detail about the 3 different tiers that we now support with Hadoop integration. So basically, just to give you a quick overview, hot tier is the data that's held in memory. It's very recently indexed data, and so it's very fast. This is the fastest of the 3 tiers. Cold tier is when it gets stored in the disk, so it can go up to a few months depending on how much data you are ingesting per day. Slightly slower than the hot tier. You can make parameter adjustments so as to optimize the search experience for you depending on where the data is coming from. And finally, the data that gets stored in Hadoop area is the frozen tier, and this will be the comparatively slower of the 3. I would not say very slow, but it's comparatively slower than the other 2 tiers. Again, it's used for either the historical diagnostics for long-term data, as well as some customers have real-time diagnostic use cases as well. Next slide, please. So we also introduced alerting capability in the last several months. As you can see, we have you can take data from multiple data sources, and when they are getting ingested, we can put some complex alert conditions and take several different actions based on what kind of alert it is and what kind of actions you want to take. You can send it to your file, can email, execute custom scripts, and we are also coming out with the ability to do SNMP traps, send it to Omnibus if you're an Omnibus customer. So that's not shown in this chart, but we do support those functionalities as well. Next slide, please. So this slide gets into a little bit more details about the type of alerts that we support. So basically, we can classify them into a simple or base condition or much more complex condition. So the base condition is when you want to do an alert based on a single data source. You have a say, for example, if you have a certain type of severity, certain type of error that is coming from a single data source, you want to send an alert, you can do that. And then from there, it can get pretty complicated, as the composite condition indicates. You can wait for a few times of occurrence of that base condition. And you can wait for a certain number of amount of time duration. So when it occurs 6 times within a certain time duration, then you can raise an alert. Also, you can search for the condition across several different data sources. So you can go from a very simple occurrence of an severity or an error to and make it pretty complicated. Next slide, please. So we also introduced, again, popular demand from our customers, role-based access control. So the role-based access control is currently based on the data sources. So there is a user administration screen. Users can have where you create roles, and the users can have multiple roles. You can define all those things. We also support LDAP authentication. We can work with some of the LDAP authentication that you have already in place. Next slide. I think that pretty much sums up the new capabilities that we released from the last time we spoke to you. Pretty much completed our highlights of the product. Turn it over to our moderator, and we are ready to take any questions at this point.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt and Prasad. We will indeed open it up for questions, and just to reiterate for those of you who joined us after the introduction, if you'd like to ask a question, you can do so using the chat window located in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. It looks like we've already had a couple pop through. For predictive insights, is it possible to take a feed from SCOM?
Yep, so this is Matt, and it absolutely is possible to take a feed for SCOM. We've done it with a number of our clients. And you can actually look forward. We're in the process of publishing some best practices around SCOM ingestion, and you'll actually find that in the same place that Prasad noted that the insight packs for log analysis are. That's where you'll see the best practices published for predictive insights, and we have one in the works right now for SCOM. But yeah, we've done it a number of times with our customers.
I think there's a bit of a follow-up with that one. Similarly, is there a log analysis insight pack for SCOM?
We currently do not have one, but if that's required, we can work on it and deliver it to you real soon.
Excellent. Is there support for Kibana4 for log analysis?
We are working on it. We can look forward to some of those exciting features in the next year, maybe first half of 2016.
Great. For both products, will there be, oops, it just rotated on me. For both products, will there be omnibus probes provided?
Well, I'll start with Predictive Insights. Predictive Insights ships with log analysis, and the output, Predictive Insights ships with Omnibus. And the output of Predictive Insights anomalies are Omnibus events. So we don't per se ship probes, but we ship Omnibus, and then we can also integrate into existing Omnibus, so we can route our anomaly events into existing Omnibus, into Omnibus. And I'll let Prasad comment on log analysis.
Yeah, sure. Similarly, we also support Omnibus integration, as I mentioned, in the alerting capability. This is not out yet. This is coming up, but we are working on it, and you will have an announce pretty soon that we will support Omnibus out of the box. We will have those features listed out of the box from our alerting drop-down. So you'll have several options, either as an SNMP trap or an EAF receiver.
Great. Is the only difference between the LA entry and the 2 GB limit?
Good question. No, it's not just the 2 GB limit. Entry edition may not have all the features that comes out with standard edition. So currently what the customers buy as the log analysis solution will be named as the standard edition. And that will have some features like Hadoop integration, alerting, etc. That will not be part of the entry edition. So entry edition is more for customers to try it out in a perpetual manner. It's not intended for production use. When you want to try and put it in production, we recommend that you get to the standard edition.
Excellent. What is the difference between the earlier ITM log file analytics and this new offering?
Can you clarify a little bit more on ITM log file analytics? There, we underwent some name change. It was called Smart Cloud Log Analysis earlier, but we changed our name. It's now called IBM Operation Analytics. log analysis, but the product is pretty much the same. There's no different product. We just changed the name.
Yeah, this could be referring to this. Obviously, ITM has a log file agent that allows you to collect log file data as part of ITM in the monitoring space, right? But that doesn't provide any of the search, the search and analytics on top of that data that log analysis does. That's my guess, Prasad, is what's being referred to here.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's a good point. Actually, we support multiple ways of collecting logs, and if you are already an ITM customer or APM customer and you have a log file agent deployed, we support log file agents, and we also support other methods of collection such as Logstash and syslog. So we will try to support as much as the open source tools that are already available. Customers are broadly using it, and then we also want to support our existing customers who have already extensively deployed the log file agents.
Great, and they did confirm they meant the log file agent, so thank you for that. For predictive insights, could you give some insights into the new themes on the roadmap?
Sure, and thanks, Abdul, for the question. So I'm going to be very, very vague because since this is not a NDA presentation, which we would usually have when we're talking about roadmaps, right? So I'm going to be even more vague than roadmap conversations are. But from a predictive insights point of view, one of basically our big themes that we're focusing on are around reducing our footprint, increasing our ability to take in more metrics, right? It's a sort of a constant theme for us. We will always have in the background from a predictive insights point of view with every release. We try to add new analytics, find new problem types that we can identify, while trying to reduce the amount of footprint it takes for us to deliver those analytics. And I think you'll also see more tighter coupling and integration across IBM's middleware offerings, particularly ITSM offerings, but more broadly across our middleware offerings as we see in the future. And that's really sort of the level of detail I want to go into right here, just because, as I said, since we're not on formally on an NDA roadmap conversation here, and since roadmaps sort of change all the time, that's sort of the level of detail I'm comfortable covering here.
Awesome. Can we use entry addition in production?
No, as I said, entry addition we don't recommend to be in production. It does not come with a production license. It also does not come with standard support. But if you want to use it in production, it's a seamless upgrade into standard edition. The upgrade path is very seamless. All you need is to get the standard license, apply it in the product, and it becomes a standard edition. There is no rip and replace involved. So you can try it out in an environment which you want to convert into a production a feature point. All you need is to apply the license.
Awesome. I already have Big Insights installed and running for other purposes in the organization. Can I use my existing installation?
Yes, we do support working with the existing installation. We will have separate nodes for the ELA log analysis data, but we can integrate with the existing installation pretty much. And Big Insights is one of the Hadoop distributions that we support. We also support Cloudera today.
Excellent. We'll hold on a few more seconds to see if any more questions filter through, but that seems to be all of them so far. All right, well, it looks like we've covered the whole topic. Matt and Prasad, sounds like you did a thorough job here.
Excellent. Again, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Yep, and thank you, Matt and Prasad, for your time and insights. It's a great presentation. So that is the end of that, folks. So thank you again for attending. We would love to hear your feedback and take a few moments to fill out our post-event survey to help us improve on future events. But this does conclude today's conference, and have a fantastic day.